It is very possible that you are a high school student watching this video right now who is illiterate. Today, I want to talk to you about how you can turn things around even at this late date. You are not a lost cause. My name is Craig Meister. I'm a college admissions coach. You can learn more about me and how you can work with me one-on-one throughout the entire college admissions process on my website, which is collegemeister.com. And if you're interested in learning about whether or not you are or your student is on track for selective college admission in the United States of America, visit areyouontracktogetin.com. Again, that's areyouontracktogetin.com, at which you will complete a free 3-minute assessment. Your results will be emailed to you right away, and they will help you clarify whether or not you are or your student is on track for selective college admission in the United States of America. I've been working with high school students for almost 2 decades, and every year, particularly in the summer, I am put on my back feet, if you will, my hind legs, shocked by the ever-increasing devolution of writing and reading instruction in America's public, private, and parochial schools in particular. Even some international schools have their own problems, but I find that the biggest problems exist in K through 12 schools in the United States, regardless of whether they are for profit, nonprofit, or public, or anything in between. And so today I just want to talk about the fact that you have to first acknowledge you have a problem before you can fix it. And despite your SAT or ACT scores, despite the fact that you may have gotten straight A's in school, what I'm here to tell you today is that as you start writing your college application essays, that is usually when you may start to realize that you are basically extremely illiterate or unlettered. But you may not realize it. You may only realize it when you, God willing, intersect with someone who actually knows how to read and write, and that person reads your first or second draft for your Common App essay or another essay on your college applications, and they tell you this is rubbish. That happens to me basically every few hours at this point, this time of year. And so what I want to do is just give you a public service announcement today, which is that I cannot fix what it has taken over a decade to do to you in a few weeks or a few months. But what I can do is I can start to fix it. And the most basic way in which I can help you start to fix it is by encouraging you to read at a level higher than you're currently reading. If you don't read at all, then please start reading books. If you are reading maybe one book a summer, try to read 2 or 3 books a summer and try to pick higher level writing or denser writing or different genre of writing than you're used to. Don't just go to the graphic novels, my friend. You really want to try to maybe go back into British literature or early American literature to try to get a sense of different styles of writing, and that will help you a great deal. Beyond that, I would simply say, again, I'm here when I work with students to help them be the most articulate and eloquent they can be, but poor writing skills, being illiterate, being unlettered, is not just a reflection on one's ability to, of course, communicate. It's also a reflection on one's ability to think critically. And again, I mean, this is not happening enough in our public, private, and parochial schools in the United States today because of the emphasis on other topics beyond the subjects that were most likely to foster critical thinking in the past have been English and history, I found. And when English and history are de-emphasized to the degree to which they have been in favor of a diversity of subjects, everything from STEM-related subjects all the way through social emotional learning and other current events topics that have sort of become dominant in American schools, it goes to figure that students would not be literate any longer. So as a result, what you can do, whether you're in 9th grade or in 12th grade, is pick up a good book. If you don't know where to find a book, there are these places called libraries, and I encourage you to visit one. Most of them still have books from before the year 2000. Almost any book from before the year 2000 would be far superior to whatever assigned reading you've been given in high school that has been from 2000 or later. And again, many students have never actually been assigned a book in high school, even if they're capable of getting a 1300 or higher on the SAT or capable of getting straight A's. That's not necessarily indicative of the student's ability to be literate. any longer. So you got to dig into things a little bit. But go to a library, and God willing, the library will not have been converted into a makerspace or a computer lounge of some sort. And you can actually find books from the 1990s or earlier and just pick up one of them and try to read it. And if you found it to be too easy, then try to find a higher level version of a 1990s or earlier book, again, of a different genre, of maybe even deeper into the, God forbid, 1800s. No, I mean, the 1800s could be really good for you. And that could be great. It could really help clarify for you how much room you have to run in terms of developing your reading skills. And by developing your reading skills, you will ultimately develop over the long term your writing skills. Some of this may even start to pay dividends by the time you are completing your college applications. But even if it doesn't pay dividends by then, it will pay dividends as you are in college, as you progress in life as a citizen, as a community member, as a member of a family, a community. This is very important to be able to think critically, read well, and ultimately write and communicate well. So this is a snowball effect. The more you read and the higher level you go with reading, the better. But I would argue at this point, at least, we are living in quite a post-literate society. And I hope that we can turn things around, but it takes individuals one at a time to make the choice that they want to become literate. And they want to ask more of themselves than maybe their school asked of them. So don't necessarily go back to your school and ask for help at your school. The school did it to you, basically. So don't think that you have to find some authority to cure you or fix you. As long as you can find a book that was published before 2000, and various books, God willing, before 2000. Again, usually this still exists at a public library. You could cure yourself in a relatively short amount of time. It's not going to take 12 years to undo what it took 12 years to do to you in kindergarten through, let's say, 11th or 12th grade. It could take maybe 6 months to 3 years for you to really fix yourself on your own. You don't need to go back to an expensive private school or even a college to fix you. You got to do it on your own. You got to fix it on your own. And that you always had that power, sort of like Dorothy in The Wizard of Oz. You always had the power to go home. You always had the power if you just clicked your little heels and went home. Same idea. You always had the power to become literate. You didn't have to depend on your drunk 5th grade teacher to teach you reading. You didn't have to depend on the 5 teachers you had in ELA in 8th grade, depending on the month that switched out because one got pregnant or one got fired or whatever. It was never up to them to have you become literate. It was always a power you had within yourself if you just were given the right resources. The right resources were not necessarily the reading and history curriculum on offer in your school or school system. The offerings exist probably covered in dust in some stack somewhere at your local library. So just go pick up a good book and read. Doesn't matter the genre, doesn't matter the topic. It could be a mystery, it could be a romance novel, I don't care. But if it's from the 1990s or earlier, go that direction and maybe do a few from the 90s and a few from the 80s, a few from the 70s, a few from the 60s, a few from the 50s, a few from the 40s. And if you do all that, if you read books from all those different decades and down into the 1800s even, my goodness, you are going to fix in no time what it took about a decade plus to do to you. If you enjoyed today's video, please give it a thumbs up and consider subscribing to my channel. If you'd like to work with me one-on-one throughout the entire college admissions process, go to my website, which is collegemeister.com. Until next time, stay safe, stay well, and most importantly, stay stress-free throughout the entire college admissions process.